Chamishi, the fifth Aliyah, page 68 in the Chayenu. More laws about truth and justice. You must not pervert the judgment of your poor fellow, your destitute fellow man, biriva, in his dispute. Rashi, evyencha. We know the famous word for poor persons, an ani. An evyon is even poorer. Lashon oiva, that he's desirous of everything because he has nothing.
What's the Hebrew word?
Evyon. Evyoncha, your destitute fellow man. Shumeduldav v'tayv l'chol. Okay. Zayin, midvar sheker tircha.
Which is worse, Evyon?
Evyon. Evyon's really poor, yeah. Really poor. Midvar sheker tircha, you shall distance yourself from any lie, falsehood, v'naki v'tzadik al tarik, and do not kill an innocent or acquitted person. For I will not acquit the truly guilty person. Do not kill an innocent or acquitted person. Where do we know that one who leaves court after being found guilty and then someone comes and says, I have what to argue in his favor, that we bring him back and rejudge the case? So where do we know that? Let's say the guy leaves, guilty, and someone says, "Wait, he has there's new evidence. You have to go retry." Talmud Leimer, it says "V'naki al tarik." The naki really means more literally innocent. The innocent, the potentially innocent, don't kill. Even though he's a naki, he's not a tzaddik. You have a naki or a tzaddik. Naki means innocent or potentially innocent, but he's not a tzaddik. He can get acquitted on like a technicality. That's also acquittable,
Rabbi.
Still, he wasn't originally acquitted by the court. Nonetheless, he's naki midin misa shayesh l'chol zakaisei. If you have evidence that could potentially acquit him, you have to bring him back. And then someone comes and says, "Wait, I have evidence that he's guilty. You cannot retry it with double jeopardy." Double jeopardy. Where do you know that you can't do that? Talmud Leimer v'tzadik al tarig. It says that a tzaddik do not kill. And the guy was tzaddik, he got the term righteous or vindicated, he can never be killed. He can never go back to be retried. Yes?
You answered the question.
Okay. Next Rashi, 4, God says, I will not acquit a truly guilty person. It's not incumbent upon you to bring back to court the truly guilty person who is acquitted by the court. It's not incumbent upon you to bring back you're not allowed to bring the guy who was vindicated back for a retrial or double jeopardy, because don't worry, I'm not going to acquit him in God's judgment. If he goes out innocent, I still have many agents to kill him, many shluchim to. You must not take a bribe. For bribery blinds the clear-sighted. It distorts the righteous words. You must not take a bribe.
I have a question from a friend that you might be interested in. And she's asking me, when Yaakov is sending Esav all these gifts as he comes towards him, is that a bribe or is that a bribe?
No, it's not a bribe.
Why not?
What's he bribing him for? If I send a client a gift, am I bribing him? I'm giving a peace offering. I'm trying to gain favor. Bribe is you're trying to distort.
Bribe. You're trying to
I mean, fine. In the loose sense, in the very loose sense of the word bribe, as trying to, tilt somebody's psyche towards your favor. I guess it is. When we say bribe, we're talking more. Here we mean a bribe within a court case. That's the point. It's okay to give people.
Yeah, I know. Judges are involved. There's no judges involved.
Right, that's the difference. Right. Right. That's it. So we're talking bribe in a courthouse. So you don't take a bribe in a courthouse.
So it only refers to a courthouse situation. It does not refer to where.
Right. Right. Exactly. Correct.
How do you know?
Context. This is the book. This is
What
the
if
parsha of
somebody
Mishpatim.
sends you you've got many clients, and one of your clients who wants to sell you something sends you a couple of gifts. Which one are you going to choose? That blinds your eyes.
That's normal business. That's doing business. That's not egregious.
What do you mean not egregious?
It's not egregious to go give because everybody could do it. It's not. It's part of the business world. You give out offers and freebies and gifts to have business relationships. It's not. It's not a sneaky thing. So I'm saying a bribe is not typically. You could call is giving. I have a question. When I want to gain a client and I give them a gift, or I take them out to lunch, right? Is that a bribe?
That's a bribe. That's a bribe.
It's not, but it's not. Again, if you want to stretch the word bribe in the most generic sense of the word,
not stretching it. You're trying to gain favor.
But a bribe is not just gain favor. A bribe is when we say here, we're talking a bribe within a inappropriate gaining favor,
where other people are concerned. But if it's just between you and that particular person, then I guess it might be okay.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Don't take a bribe. For bribery blinds the clear-sighted. It distorts the righteous words. It says Rashi, you must not take a bribe. Even to judge truthfully. Here's a big chiddush. That even to give you say, I'm going to give you the judge $100 and do the right thing. You don't tell him to sneak, to cheat for you. Here's $100, right? The koshka how much more so if you're trying to tilt the judgment in your favor, if you're trying to pervert the judgment. We already, so Rashi's pointing out, how does Rashi say this? He says like this, to tell you that you can't tilt a judgment wrongly, we said that when we opened up today's Chumash. Don't tilt judgment. Justice is blind. Don't tilt it. Okay?
Let
me finish. Excuse me. What is it adding when it says another verse later, do not take a bribe? You said you can't tilt it anyway. Coercion, bribe, who cares? So it's saying that you can't give a bribe even without specifying you want a payback for it. Because even then, you're messing with the judge's mind, even if you don't say it outright. Yes, Gary.
No, I think Alan has stretched the definition of bribery way too far, because at least in modern times, it's giving money to get some kind of illegal or unethical gift or lobbying for something that is just wrong. So let's say I go out to lunch with Alan and I say, Alan, I want you to like me. Here's $1,000. That's not a bribe. That's just, call it whatever you want, but that's not a bribe, because I'm not soliciting anything illegal or unethical or whatever. Just to give somebody a gift because you want them to like you, that is common practice in life.
But what about when I'm in charge of all the contracts on a particular item in the space?
We have a long Chumash today, so we're gonna have to.
But that is, let me just be very quick. That's unethical. But just for me to give you money for you to like me, separate from any kind of unethical or illegal behavior, that's just common practice.
Okay, moving along. Ches. Next Rashi, Aver Pichim. Bribery blinds the clear-sighted. Even a chacham b'Torah v'nitel shechad, even someone who's wise in Torah but takes a bribe, in the end he will lose his mind. Ishtach tamudiv yichem areinav, and whatever he learned will be forgotten. His eyes shall become dim. In other words, So literally, he's going to just become a senile old man, essentially, if he takes a bribe. A forgetful, meaning he's going to lose whatever he has. Visalef kitargum mekalkal. Salif means, Uncle says he will, and because a bribe, it distorts divrei tzadikim, devarim hamutzdakim, words upheld as righteous, laws of truth. V'chein targume mipiskam mitzvitzi yesharim. So English translates upright words. Gimel, the test. V'ger, next passage. V'ger lo silchatz. You must not oppress a foreigner. And you know, as nefesh ager, the soul, the feelings of a ger, for you were foreigners in the land of Egypt. Rashi. A ger lo silchatz, you must not oppress a ger. Many times the Torah warns us, again, a few times, don't press the ger, don't press the convert. Why so many repetition of the same prohibition? Because a ger, his tendency is to evil. What does that mean? That basically that because he knows, I guess, what exists in the pagan world or in the non-Jewish, non-mitzvah world, he's more susceptible if you are mean to him to leave it, and he can't. Once he converts, he's Jewish forever. So you have to be very careful to their vulnerability, particularly that you could really turn them, to back to a life, an un-Jewish life.
Right.
As nefesh hager, says Rashi, the feelings of a ger, and you should know how hard it is. You know the feelings of a ger, of a proselyte, because you know how hard it is when people oppress him. Giyud. Okay, v'sheisham 6 years you must sow your land. Stav you gather its produce. Yud Aleph. Yud Rashi, you should gather its produce. A safta is expression of bring into the house. A safta el tech b'secha. Hashvi is tishmeten and netashta. But you shall withdraw from work in the 7th year. You shall withdraw from work in the 7th year. Netashta. And refrain from eating its produce. And so that the destitute among your people may eat and their leftovers, the beasts of the field shall eat. So you should do your vineyard and your olive grove. Rashi. Tishmetena means withdraw from the work. Natashta, abandon eating after the time of removal. Time of removal is basically if a crop. So the law of the Shemitah year is that anybody can go pick what they want from the field. However, let's say you picked a bushel of apples, but then a month later your tree was all picked clean, no more apples. You can no longer eat the apples in your barrel. Maybe small quantities, but yeah.
I don't think I noticed. The tree is empty. You can't eat anymore.
Yeah, and you can't have that species anymore.
Wow.
I think. I mean, I'm not sure there's more deal. Another explanation is you shall withdraw from it. You shall withdraw from doing full agricultural work, such as plowing and sowing, and not abandon it by not even fertilizing or hoeing. The leftovers of the beasts of the field will eat. This is written to make a comparison. This is to make a comparison between the food of a poor man and the food of the wild beasts. Just like a beast eats without giving tithes, so too the poor can eat meiser, the food of Shemitah without any tithing. Here we learn there's no tithing in the year of the 7th year. So shall you do your vineyard. The beginning of the verse is speaking about a white field. What's a white field? A white field is a grain field. I'm sorry, a field not of trees. guess it looks white from the sky or something, green. As stated in the verse above, you may sow your land. So the beginning is about a field. Here it's saying it's hitting for a vineyard and olive grove. Okay, Yud Beis. Sheish Yom Tasem. 6 days you shall do your work. Vayim Shvi Tishbes, and 7 days you shall rest. Mani Nuach V'Sharcha V'Chamerecha V'Yinavish Namas V'Ger. In order that your ox and your donkey and the foreigner shall be refreshed, and your maidservant's son and the foreigner may be refreshed. 7th day you shall rest, as Rashi. Abba Shona Shvius L'Taka Shabbos V'Reishim Mukema. We know about Shabbos, right? Why is he saying again? He's saying that even the Shemitah year, which is all basically one big Shabbos here in a way, you might think, okay, you're doing this agricultural Sabbath, maybe you don't have to do the regular Sabbath. You have to do it. Okay. Now, he says in the bottom, the Mizrahi says the truth is we do learn something without having the juxtaposition. That not only you have to rest, but your maidservant, the maidservant, and the donkey, your animals. Understand? Even not Jews, they're owned by Jews. The animals have to rest, as well as the maidservants. You can't make them work for you. So we know that. But it says, but the fact that it's juxtaposed in this sabbatical year is to teach us this lesson. Okay. Your ox, your donkey shall rest. How do you give a donkey rest? Give it rest. Let it relax by allowing it to uproot and eat grass from the ground. Maybe you can't do that. It's doing malacha of the animal, right? It's ripping up grass. Isn't that forbidden? He says, no. So he says that would not be relaxation for the animal. Meaning, for an animal, it has to roam free. That's relaxation. That's what it says, tanuach. Your animal has to relax. How does it relax? It chomps on grass. Ben Amasach, your maidservant's son. This is talking about a non-Jewish servant. It's uncircumcised. The ger and the foreigner, this is the ger toisho, not the proselyte, the non-Jewish monotheistic foreigner who lives in Israel. They can't work for either. I guess for you or, yeah. Yud Gimel, b'chol asher amarti aleichem tishameru, everything I told you, you shall do, you shall keep. Shem Elokim acherim l'saskiru, you must not mention the name of other gods. Lo yisham apicha, nor may be heard through you. B'chol asher amarti aleichem tishameru, everything I have told you, you shall keep. This is written to apply a provision to every positive commandment. Every shmir in the Torah is a warning in the place of saying it's prohibited. So here it's saying so okay, whatever. It's saying it's more severe than just not fulfilling a positive. There's also a negative that you're overcoming, that you should have been guarding the mitzvah. Lo yisaskiru, you should not mention the name of other gods. You shouldn't say, what does it mean mention them? Of course you don't say. So first of all, we don't say, wait for me next to such an idol. Or stay with me on the holiday of such, meaning stay with me on the holiday of this idol. You can't basically use the name of idols in common speak, even not for venerated purposes.
Even a simon, right?
It's a simon, yeah. Another meaning is everything I told you, you shall keep. You must not mention the name of other gods. These two statements are written together to teach you the prohibition of idol worship is equal in severity to all their commandments together, right? Everything I said you should do, and don't do idol worship. Like it's like in the same power. And whoever keeps idol worship, in a way, it's like you're keeping all the commandments. Lo yishama, nor may be heard through you. You can't even make a non-Jew say an idol's name. How does that work? You shouldn't basically become a partner with a pagan who's then going to swear to you that, I didn't steal by his God. And then you're basically causing that the name of idols be mentioned through you. Yudal Shalosh Regalim Tachig L'Hoshana. 3 times a year. 3 times a year you shall celebrate festivals for me. Regalim is times. Similarly, Ki Kisani Zeh Shalosh Regalim. So we find that he hit me on these 3 occasions. Tezvav, Es Chag HaMatzos Tishma, you shall observe the festival Matzos, Shivas Yom Techel Matzos, for a 7-day period. Usually Matzos, Kasher Tzizich, as they've commanded you, L'moyed Chodesh Aviv, at the appointed time of the month of ripening. Kivo Yatzos Mitzrayim, for in this month you went out of Egypt. V'lo yiro panei rekom, and my face should not be then seen by you empty-handed. Tezvav, Chodesh Aviv, the month in which the grain becomes full in its ripe state. Another explanation is, Av is a term related to father, is the prime and first of the months to ripen fruit. Av is a term related to father. It is the prime and first of the months to ripen fruit. Lo yiro panei rekom, my face shall not then be seen empty-handed. When you come to see my face on the festivals, bring me my burnt offerings. Yeah, in the time of the month of ripening, spring. And don't be empty-handed, meaning bring Hashem the sacrifices, the scents. You shall observe the festival of the harvest. The festival of the harvest you shall observe by bringing the first fruits of your produce. Which you sow in the field. The festival of the ingathering at the end of the year. The festival of ingathering at the end of the year when you gather your produce from the field. The festival of the harvest. This is Chag HaShuos. This is the time of bringing the first fruits of your produce. The time of bringing the first fruits. Because the 2 loaves that you brought on Shavuos will permit the using of chadash, of the new grain, to be used for meal offerings, menachos, and to bring bikurim to the mikdash. That yeah. Basically, because they did the 2-loaf sacrifice on Shavuos, that allowed you to use wheat, I believe wheat grain, because barley's from the Omer, wheat grain for meal offerings, a staple of the what do you call it? A staple of the temple service, and it also allowed you to bring bikurim. Apparently, we have bikurim on that day.
That was a trigger. The 2 carbonas.
From that day on Shavuos, you could bring bikurim from Shavuos till Hanukkah. The 2 loaves, yeah. Okay, the Chag also, the festival in gathering is Sukkot. When you gather your produce, all the summer the produce lies and dries in the fields, and in the fall they gather the grain to bring in because of the rain. Yud Zayin, Shalish Pam Mashana, 3 times a year, all your male folk should be seen before Hashem the Lord, the Eternal.
Wow.
Shalish 3 times a year, because we're talking about the 7th year. It was necessary to mention this commandment to remember that even in the Shemitah year, the Shemitah year, you don't suspend the 3 festivals. Like we said, Shabbos is suspended. Calls all the men folk among you. Oh, we're almost done. Lois is Bacham is Dadam Zivchi. You must not sacrifice my Pesach offering for its blood while there's chametz in your possession. Nor may you leave the fat of my festival offering overnight until morning. To not sacrifice the blood of my sacrifice by unleavened bread. You must not slaughter the Pesach sacrifice on the 14th of Nisan until you remove all leavened bread. Nor may the fat of my festival offering remain overnight off the altar. Adbaikir until the morning. I might have thought that even when on the wood pyre of the altar the fat becomes invalid if left overnight. I might have thought that even when on the wood pyre of the altar the fat becomes invalid if left overnight. The Torah therefore teaches about this by saying elsewhere, all night upon the wood pyre which is on the altar. Thus, nor may be left overnight means it is not considered as having been left overnight unless it was not placed on the altar by dawn, as it says here, until morning. Any time during the whole night, one may bring it up from the floor of the courtyard into the altar. What's it saying here? Don't leave fat on the altar overnight. What does it mean overnight? It means you can't. It's only overnight if it wasn't placed on the altar before dawn. But the whole night, it's you can put stuff on the altar. You can basically put the fats on the altar the whole night. Thank you. Your test. You should bring the first of the ripened fruits to the house of Hashem, your God. Does not cook a young animal in its mother's milk. Rashi. The first ripened fruits of the land. This is even on Shemitah you bring bikurim. That's what it says here. So what does it mean? When's the first of your fruits? A person enters his field, he sees a nice fig. The first fruit, he puts a red a piece of reed, like a ribbon on it, and dedicates it for bikurim. And there's no bikurim except from the 7 species of the land of Israel. Don't cook a kid. A kid means any kosher mammal. It means a cow, calf. It means a sheep. It means a baby sheep. It can mean any baby kosher cow, baby sheep, baby goat. Because gedi does, even though gedi translates as goat, it doesn't have to be a goat. It means a kid. It means a kid. A kid doesn't have to be a goat only in Hebrew. How do we know this? Because elsewhere says gediism. In Torah, it says the kid of a goat. Like, just say kid, it means only goat. It must mean kids could be other beings besides goats. Every place gedi means stam, it means any type of calf, lamb. So why did it say? Let's just say kosher animal. It was a more common practice, I guess, back then. They were given the common scenario, but it wasn't limited to the common scenario. And the reason it says it 3 times in Torah, the same verse, is for 3 different prohibitions. One is to forbid eating milk and meat. One is to forbid pleasure, having benefit from it. And one is to forbid selling it, cooking it.